Angojetsi maswera seangojetsi.
Zviri sei tujera?
Aiwa zvirikufamba zvitofamba izvi zvangojetsi zvirikufamba. Zvitofamba izvi zvizvi. Vanongoda kombozha chete. Ndoda kuti mundibetsere because haini zvemasomo kangozati sitangojaira mapikika. Angojetsi population yedu yatina handiti kuma almost like 17.2 million, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So apa pasofa vanga vachinzi vari for manumbers enye akamira sei? Zviya? Tine manumbers aka
manumbers? Okay, hanzi zoni according to what came out of the parliament. Vatizo pama written submissions vakanyora ma-emails.
Anokuda total chete handinyanyi kuziva masomo.
Okay, all right. In favor, banga paine 537,102. And those that were against were 2,935.
No, what are in favor, Jet? Okay. So, Martin in favor, 500 GT?
In favor, 537,102.
Okay, which is almost like, according to Metsa and most, 3.1 something percent of our population, right? This was it. Yes, 3 point something. Because if I look my calculator right now, they can go to 3.2% of 17.2 million. I got something like 550,000.
Right. Yeah, thereabouts.
No, let me just round them off to my numbers. So to what like 3.3% according to the population, do we for the bill, right? This was what it is. Yes, I can't right now. Wrong, but there's nothing wrong there. 3.3%. Do you support a bill? Because we are 17.2 million people. And they say whatever.
Because in the giver, I don't bend up never snap in your hand. Vasna kunyora would have, made a decision and would no fire.
No. What I'm trying to say, Uncle Jetting. Soon is the guys as Mona Papa Pamaneta Masomo, when you Kumadigozu. And Limoneta, I know the simplify here. Some practice is very simple, Uncle Jetting. 3.3% do iri kudazvikitika isusu wakuchera pasi because mukadaona kuti tsanangura we don't understand any other language isu language handiri kuto understand zvezvangojedzika kana muda zvokuwira nenika inongoziva kuti 3 handisuda kuti 3.2 ndoda kuti ndivape 3.3% ndo iri kubvumirana nezvinhu zvikiitika ndo nyaya iripo chete angojeti. Let's not see hatisi kuda violence, hatisi kuda chii, hatisi kuda zvange zviri pachena kaizvi. Nokuti mamungati mime angojeti pa 17.2 million population muuya nemanumbers kuti hanzi takataura nevanhu. They talk to almost like vanhu vanosvika 600,000 eri vanhu vakaparticipate apa kana makazvitarisa angojeti vanosvika eri
600,000. According to that, I'm speaking at 600,000.
Right, but the population anomunoziva henyu kuti angatimbopisa 17.2 ngatingeisiya iri pa ngatibvisa futi chere imwe million population obvious 16 million vanhu vanokwana muzimbabwe. That's very clear because
aiwa tinotarisa the adult population because ndo inenge capable of participating. Saka kuti izo okay, let us give it let's say it 10 million.
No, vapendero 8 million
toti vamwe vesa vanhu vana vadiki incapable of participating in
I don't think you can say kuti vanhu vari under 18 vangazobva vawanda. Because we're talking of under 18 here. Aiwa kangojedzika aiwa. Saka aiwa kanyaya ingori pangojedzika isvisuka iminemika ngatingobvumirana ipanapa kuti percentage iri kubvuma zviri kuitwa izvi yavakadzira nayo yavakakonzauta nayo it's alright kutongoti 10% of the population tosira ipapo. Saka kureva kuti imwe 90% is pending consultation according pa 4 days dzavo dzadzi pa 4 days dzavo dzavakaita dzadzi mbuzika ndo zviripo angojeti ndo zviripo kaizvi. Nokuti kana kuri sekwedu isu maconstituency edu atambobvira Tanzania zvazvisi Hatozivi kuti kwakaitei. Takatombobvunzawo vanhu vari kumba kuti makambovaonawo here makambonzi kudii, hatina mubvira tazawo nezvazvo. Saka ndizvozvo kana zvakaitikira kwaZvimba kaeka nemanhambasi ekwazvimbawo nekuku nekunana zvichava nezvichinda ikuku, ndizvozvo kaangojedzi. What's the problem? Ndo vacho ivavo kana kuri kuti ndo yanyika yavo, handizvozvo tichange tichingoonawo kuti zvichafamba sei. But I am quite sure kuti even chero mamwe mazano members anotoparticipate. Kana ivo vari kuti vane manhambasi chaiwo chaiwo, chero mazano members anotoparticipate. I'm wondering why vachiprevent even their own people to participate in this. Like where I'm coming from, Uncle Jet, it's a very strong ZANU-PF area, but I never heard of it. So what are they talking about? What are they talking about? Are you sure that number you decides there are millions of population? Uncle Jet. Muripo era. Because inini kana mukanditaura, because mapana kuziva kuti kana mukati hamudi kuverenga vana vangu inini, mukati hamudi kuverenga vana vangu Angojetse, zvamamutaura kuti hanzi vanhu vakaparticipate. Saka imaona kuti pandoparticipate inini ndingaparticipatira ndisingaprivendi vana vangu here Angojetse. Muri kuda kuti ini vana vangu handivadei.
Adujera. Mira Dujera. You see, when you're dealing, with these, stats, sometimes it is not always the case. You're going to have 100%, participation. I'm agreeing with your arguments, that you're bringing in. But there's always that element of representative when you're looking at the sample, that is existing. So when you're looking at the 600, or we said we want to give them, 600,000, right? People who took part, in this whole thing. 600,000, just suppose that with maybe 8 million is the 600,000 representative of the entire population. If you want to say, we take, the arguments for, and we go across, the country, everyone in the country is going to be agreeing with the, with what the 600, have said, or that figure is small enough to prevent that aspect of generalization, to be made to the entire Zimbabwean population. So we are looking at about 3%, right, of the population.
If you really wanted to just be able to deliver, he has many other avenues that he could have used to empower the people that he has. Mataura correctly, Uncle, you could have advisor committee, blah blah. The list is endless. The budget, even for that, since it's always passed on to the citizens, he could easily achieve that. But it shows you how ill-formed the ideas are and how they take Zimbabweans for granted, as if we cannot think through these things and be able to see them for what they are. Superficial solutions to problems that are real, problems that are created by ZANU-PF, which again is offering itself as the antidote, the panacea to our problems. It is not the panacea to our problems. It is the hate, it is the illness, it is that disease what is affecting us. And we cannot allow the disease to dictate kuti mushonga wayo chi azviite ma-citizens. I can go through my sections akawanda, but I think hama dziripo dzinodzida kutaura. I will just touch on these. Ndova ndati in lending, maybe touch on the 1 year, the military, coup proofing. We have been made to believe that the only force that can change government in Zimbabwe is a wing of a political party. The army has been reduced to a wing of the political party. We should free ourselves from that illusion. We should free ourselves from that illusion. And to free ourselves from that illusion, we need to be able to bring in the importance of the civilian in creating power. So we are not supposed to depend upon kufungira kuti army react 100,000, but that's it's not all of them that will be reacting. You are talking about the few generals that you think will react. We should not depend on them. We should depend on ourselves, on our leaders, our favorites, even the ones that we hate, and say to them, what is the collective action that we are taking if the Parliament of Zimbabwe decides to betray the citizens and tries to expand its own mandate, something so absurd. Ndakapa example yekuti une shamwari yako iri kuZimbabwe, iwewe uri kuBritain, woti ndoda kutenga mota muZimbabwe, wamupa power of attorney kuti handine simba randakupa rekuti ushande mugiri rangu iri, unditengerewo mota. Handiti unditengerewo mota yangu, wosign on my behalf the whole 9 yards. Ozviita izvozvo, mangwana okufonera kuti aiwa but power of attorney yawakandipa yanga iri kutenga mota, but ndafunga kuti ndauda kukumanejera zvinhu zvako zvese, ndauda kutengesa dzimba dzako dzaungosoda kutengesa because ndazoona kuti ndinogona kuita make a profit, iwe unogona kugrowa portfolio yako, ndoda kukubatsira. He can't do that. He cannot expand his own mandate. That is what the parliament is striking. It should not be permitted to happen, ladies and gentlemen. We should remind them we gave you 5 years. And those 5 years, if we want to end them, you have to come back to us. You have to come back to us, the people, and ask for that edition. The question is, out today, leaders, are we becoming the leaders to be ready to declare as civilians? It is ZANU-PF, here and no further. Here and no further. If we let them win CAB3, the battle is never going to be the same. It will be an uphill. This is a bill that is designed for ZANU-PF, especially the elite in ZANU-PF, to entrench themselves at a very low cost. The cost of oppression is high, but with Bill 3, they are cutting the cost of oppression, which will give them more mileage to be able to oppress you. They no longer need command agriculture to buy cap mese. They need to simply go to 300 people, sit down with them, watch pani briefcase black 2 million, but next pani food. You make your choice. End of story.
Yeah, Bagaiba.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's an interesting breakdown that has been posted by Zim Live on the numbers, and they say that Parliament says only 386 Zimbabweans opposed Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 during the public consultations. Only 386, and we all saw what happened. And in terms of the written submissions, Parliament is saying that there were 470,117 written submissions. And out of those, the submissions that were for CAB3 were 469,040. The submissions that were against were 1,077. And then they say there were 67,688 public hearing submissions. And the numbers that were for were 67,302, and that gives rise, to that 380, the one that I mentioned, in the beginning. In terms of the emailed submissions, they are saying that there were 2,232 emailed submissions. Those that were for are 760, and those that were against are 1,472. So that gives a total of 540,037 submissions. So the ones that were in favor is 537,102, and those that were against are 2,935. So these are the figures that have been compiled by Zim Live, and they posted them on their thing. The Zimbabwe Republic Police, they've issued a preventive warning saying that any form of protest, unrest, or incitement, especially online, will be treated as a criminal act. I want to believe it's a preemptive strike that is aimed at discouraging demonstrations or social media mobilization around CAB3. So don't be surprised when you see arrests, being made. And, if you're looking at this kind of behavior, it is common, especially when we are having a debate that provokes strong public, reactions. Because as you rightly said, if this guy is, if everything was okay, why do they fear? And by them explicitly mentioning social media threats, they are giving us an indication that even digital activism is being watched closely. They are watching it closely, right? So it's a reminder that even posts calling for protest or expressing anger about CAB3, it can attract, scrutiny under these laws. I'm glad that, Mazbaba Shanduko was given, bail, but, there are countless, there are other young people that are behind bars for stupid, crimes, being accused of wanting to cause, or to incite public, violence, or being accused of these, I always want to protect, people, that come through, to say that, if, okay, they're aging, they're saying peace and respect, the law during, these, deliberations. I have occupied a position whereby I have said any national dialogue that must be had in Zimbabwe, it must remain peaceful and lawful. There's never a point where some of us have deviated from that. But my position on CAB3 has always been to say, is always aimed at expressing whatever it is that we want to express through civic discussion, like what we do, and never call for any confrontation, because that is not what we are all about. So, but I need people to understand. But when you say no to the bill, it is your constitutional right, and it is not a call to a disorder. That is what people need to understand. When you occupy that position, you are exercising your constitutional right. You are not calling for, for a disorder. Because we are individuals and we are human beings. We are capable of disagreeing respectfully, and also we are capable of upholding peace and security. Because, we understand the implications of not, doing that. So, expect anything at this moment. Expect it, because they now understand that, we have gotten to a stage where criticism is going to be out there, where disgruntlement is going to be out there, where people are going to be speaking out against what is happening. As this parliament, deliberate, I think, I think they themselves, they are going to understand the, the importance of deliberating without fear or intimidation. But already they were intimidated anyway. But I just think now this is what they're directing to the public. They are directing to the people of Zimbabwe. And the police are positioning, themselves as a people or as an organization, that want to assert state authority, or that wants to create a